Welcome, everybody. How is everybody today? This is Dr. Morote from John Jay College, and we are here very happy in another week of Graduate Power. This is our favorite moment that we talk with our alumni and a professor. They tell us what they're doing, what things happening. And today we have two beautiful people. We have Professor Shapiro, and we have our alumni, which is Nia. Nia is a fantastic MPA-EIO alumnus, which now is Senior Management Analyst in the City of San Antonio Department of Human Services Director Office. And Nia will talk about herself and they will tell us things that she has been doing. And of course, we have our Professor Shapiro, which he is the MPA Inspector and Oversight Director, and he can tell us more about the MPA-IO. So let's begin with Nia. Nia, could you tell us please about yourself, what things you have been doing, and how many years you graduated, Nia?
Yeah, that's a very good question because I had to do like the calculation. So I graduated with my undergrad in 2020, and then I graduated with my MPA in 2022. So it's been a few years. Just like the host said, my name is Nia Gibson. I'm a senior management analyst for the Department of Human Services in the director's office. I actually was a born and raised New Yorker until I was 24 when I got a fellowship opportunity with the city of San Antonio, and I decided to move out here. It was a year-long fellowship, and I was like, as soon as I felt the heat, I was like, oh, they're only going to see me for a year. But then I loved the program so much, and I stayed, and now it's going to be my third year in the city of San Antonio, but also third year of living in Texas.
Wow.
And honestly, it's crazy because this is like the first time I ever lived by myself and everything, because when I went to John Jay, I was a commuter student. I took the train and everything like that, so I was living with my parents. So this was like a really big deal for me, and it's just been an amazing experience so far.
Excellent, Nia. This is amazing. So you are in a warm weather while we having cold
Yes,
New York. That's a big change, big change.
yes, like night and day. It's literally like 80 plus degrees right now.
Wow,
Yeah.
we're still jealous. Well, we are getting there. We are getting there. We are still jealous. Professor Shapiro, David Shapiro, you are the new director of MPA-IO. Please tell us what motivated you to enter to direct this program, and what do you see in this program?
Well, thank you, Dr. Morote. I appreciate the introduction. Inspection and oversight, is about verification. And I'm a big fan of when you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. So what led me to this is basically a compliance, audit, investigation, program evaluation. All these things I find interesting. I find it very important to make sure the government provides the services it says it's going to provide. And here at John Jay, that's what we study. And I think it's a unique program. And I'm so happy to see that Nia is in a place that offers tremendous growth. Now she's experiencing personal growth, and I think
Yes.
that for ill and good, Texas offers challenges, and I think it's a great thing you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Nia, how do you decide to go IO? So when do you find out that there is a different master's program?
Yes, that's a good question. I was getting my undergrad in fraud examination and financial forensics, and I also was getting my certificate in dispute resolution. And I knew I wanted to get my master's, but I didn't know what connected with which. But so then I went to my advisor, Yvonne Purdy, and I asked her a whole bunch of questions like, hey, I want to continue my education. Where do I go next? And I told her a few, and she was like, the best thing to do was public administration and inspection and oversight, because I learned about fraud and then accounting fraud and everything like that. So just really piqued my interest, and I saw the courses, and I had to choose between inspection oversight or the regular, and I chose inspection oversight because that's what I gravitate to. I always want to ask questions. I always want to do process improvement and really just make things smoother. So that's why I picked that one.
And what courses of that you took in MPA-IO were connected now with the work you're doing right now?
Yes, I took one of the classes that pops in my head was like a human resources class, and it was more of how you support your employees and how you make sure they're motivated to do their job and just make sure that they're supported. And honestly, now my role now, I'm focused on process improvement and administrative duties because I support the assistant director, and he's over homeless services, family assistance, communications, and data. So not only am I making sure everything is good on his end, I'm assisting all his direct reports. So I'm making sure that they have the information they need and make sure that they're supported and that they have all the tools because we're human services. So we're supporting so many people. We're supporting from babies to seniors. So we need to make sure that our processes are as smooth as possible because we're giving services to everyone. So that's how it connected, and I love it.
Oh, okay. Oh, we have a question here. They want to know if you took the program online or in person or mix.
It was mixed. Unfortunately, it started online because I took it during COVID still. Like my last year of undergrad was online and my first year of MPA was online. So it was a struggle in the beginning because I usually only took 1 or 2 online classes and 2 in person. But the professors that I have really kept me engaged and gave me coursework that I enjoyed to the point where even though I was virtual, I still enjoyed it. But I would say to get the best view of everything, try to be in person as much as you can because that's how it's most interactive.
Yeah, well, very good. The Professor David Shapiro, what was our students' composition in our programs? There are full-time, part-time. Um, how is the composition in the MPA-IO?
Well, as you know, Dr. Morote, at John Jay, we have a unique definition of full-time. So actually, in the MPA program, you are considered full-time, taking 9 credits a semester, which is 3 courses. Now, I don't want to say that that's an easy thing to do, but it's certainly doable. So anything less than 9 credits would be considered part-time. And in my opinion, students should take their time. I mean, learning with your peers in the freedom of a university and a college in New York City, it's just something, why would you want to rush through that, right? You might end up in Texas with nothing but heat, right, Nia?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. So that's the way it is. You learn as much as you can. Do you remember, Nia, the things that you stand up when you were in the program? What things do you must remember? Your professors, the speakers, the conference. What is things that you must feel like impact you?
One of the biggest things that impacted me in undergrad was when I decided to get a certificate in dispute resolution. I just didn't want to do a minor. I wanted to do more. And not only did I do a lot of coursework, but I also volunteered in different internships to really get that real world experience. And that's how it helped me build my resume and everything like that, because I know coursework and having your degree is one thing, but you need to have experience also because that's what they're always asking for. And then for my MPA, for my undergrad, I did a CUNY service corps. And that's when I was an accounting clerk for almost a year. And I learned all these accounting lingo and also just how to really put my coursework into the real world. And then for my MPA, I did a CUNY child policy advocacy program where I didn't even know what policy advocacy was. Like I had a little gist of it, but it actually helped me because my capstone class, I had to do a policy analysis paper, and I did it on a lack of education in Florida's juvenile detention centers. So I got to research and everything like that. I also, being in that program, I spoke at 2 conferences. I did one regional, and then I did one that was national in Jacksonville, Florida. So like having the opportunity to really connect with so many important and smart people and just being a student was amazing. And using those connections for now, because honestly, those opportunities gave me the courage to apply for the fellowship that I have now that leading me to this permanent position. So honestly, just networking and just putting yourself out there and trusting yourself that John Jay is going to give you the necessary tools to really be successful. And it's just be amazing, and just test the field and test it out and see what you like and what you don't like.
Wow. So here is a question coming that they want to know more about the
Mhm.
fellowship. Do you apply? That was while you were a student or after?
It was while I was a student. So I think it's called the City Manager Fellow, like the Management Fellowship, and I'll even share the link and everything like that. They closed for this cohort, but the next cohort would open a little bit before February. So it's a year-long fellowship with the city, and you do 3 separate rotations. One, you're in the city manager's office, where you're basically right across the hall from the mayor, all the city managers, all of city council, and you're helping the assistant city managers who are all over these different departments, and just learning about public engagement, public government, and just really learning how it works here. And I love that because, of course, San Antonio is smaller than New York. So I got to really dive into the government and really learn everything. Also, you'll be in the budget office. Budget experience is another big thing. Every rotation is like 4 months. In the budget, you actually are analysts. Like, they add you to the org chart, and you actually have your own departments that you go over, make sure they're financially stable, and see if they need more money, if they don't need more money, what are they spending their stuff on, and just really connecting with a lot of fiscal individuals. And then they match the third place with what matches with your resume. So I actually interned with Human Services. So I got to be on the data and metric team and help them develop a poverty test and everything like that, like a survey, and really assess the poverty in San Antonio. And I got to add that to my resume. And then I loved Human Services so much that I wanted to go back, and that position was opening by the time I was about to finish the program, and I applied and I got it.
Wow, this is excellent. I mean, I didn't know that program exists. That's excellent. I will motivate my students to apply. So
Definitely,
certainly,
because I think Shapiro, it was the one who sent like the flyer. Because honestly, I got a flyer for the position, and I was like, San Antonio. I was like, the only thing I knew about San Antonio was the Spurs. So I was like, oh, okay. And I asked one of my good friends. I was like, hey, should I apply? And she was like, go ahead. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And I pushed my luck, and I got through.
wow, I'm so happy for you. I think
Thank you.
sometimes you just have to take it and do it. This is
Yes,
the part of the life.
definitely.
David Shapiro, what do you think is the biggest challenge then when the students are enrolled in the program? The workload, time management. What do you think would be the biggest challenge?
I think time management is a common problem for our students. At the graduate level, they're older, they have more serious responsibilities, family, work, and it's difficult sometimes to navigate the demands imposed by these 3 dimensions, right? Family, work, and education. And of course, having been there and in one dimension, whatever I assign, whatever I ask of you, the student, is the most important thing, right? I'm facetious, of course, but time management is something to be learned. And when you do learn it, you can do so many things. You've heard Nia talk about all the stuff she's done. Well, you can't do all that stuff if you try to do everything. You learn to discover what's important, how to study efficiently, how to manage work, how to expect certain things out of your job, out of your family, and negotiate therefrom. And most importantly, too, I think you learn human social skills, because inevitably things go wrong, right? Expect the unexpected, right? Remember from the beginning of what we were doing here, things happen. And so when you develop the ability to talk to people and restructure, reschedule, and give a little here and take a little there, you learn these little skills. They last lifelong and they're invaluable.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, you learn what we're doing, and you learn manage your time, and then be able to do all the things that you have been doing here. They asked me, we heard you that you were working. You were working full time during that time, What do you think the challenge you have while we're doing your degree?
So since I was for my MPA the first year, I was working full time in a job that wasn't course related. I just honestly, since it was COVID, I wanted to get out the house and have more structure. So I did full time. But I had an employer that understood that some days I had to leave early for class. But I literally was doing my homework on the bus. I was doing my assignments on the bus because I felt like once I got home, I'm exhausted and I wouldn't have the focus to do it. So every little time, every downtime, lunch, I would do my work, study, and everything like that. Even in undergrad, when I had an hour plus commute, I would do it on the train and everything like that because college is exhausting and you need to like really learn how to utilize your time and really push yourself, but also know when it's a break, it's time for a break. And my second year, I was working part time because it was part of the fellowship. So I had to work a specific amount of hours, and then the other hours I was in class. So it was part time, so it was a little better. But also, I still had to manage my time because not only did I have stuff for my classes, I needed to make sure that in the internship that I was learning policy and advocating, I need to make sure I was giving my time for work also and giving 100% both, even though sometimes that's not possible, but trying my best to do so.
Wow, that things a lot. But I'm so happy that you are where you want to be.
Thank you.
Professor Shapiro, what skills do you think the students obtain? Which you mentioned several of them, but what do you think they obtain to get those jobs, like the one that Nia has, or other kind of jobs?
Well, Nia is demonstrating before our very eyes maturity. And that's something that has to be learned and suffered through. You know, one doesn't become mature because one decides to and wakes up mature. You're seeing a mature Nia that's able to juggle things. But what an employer looks for, to your question, you know, academically, we want to demonstrate three things. We want our students to have a certain literacy, right? Don't be afraid to read things that seem somewhat complicated, right? Because policy can be written in its own jargon, right? Language of law, the language of statistics, and numeracy too. Numeracy. Don't be afraid of the numbers, right? Dare say if you got paid less than you're supposed to get paid, you'd back it up with the numbers, right? So numbers are your friend, and don't hesitate from becoming well versed, and don't shy from numeracy. And also, finally, really, it's problem solving. The ability to break down a problem into its parts so that it becomes manageable, as opposed to something that seems so insurmountable, right? Difference, a predicament, right? A predicament we can't solve, a problem we can solve. So, you know, basically those three things.
So that's the three most important things that we learn, the life skills, besides all the knowledge that you will apply through their life. Nia, they were asking me, when do you move to San Antonio this year, correct?
No, I moved in 2022. I literally graduated from an MPA program in May, and I moved here in June.
Also, immediately.
Yeah, immediately because I went through the whole process of the program because it was different interviews, and I had to I was flown out to San Antonio to meet the other finalists and everything, and like really learn about the city, and then do a presentation and a final interview in front of a panel. And honestly, if you could get through that, you could get through any interview. I tell people that all the time, but I literally moved here. I didn't even have my driver's license because, you know, as a New Yorker, you take the train and everything. This job taught me that I needed my driver's license. So I literally studied for a whole month, and I did the road test like 2 weeks before I moved to Texas, and they had to mail my driver's license to me. And it really pushed me to do that because I was like, I'm gonna just keep taking the train. It's fine. But literally this experience showed me that, hey, you need your license and everything just in case.
Wow. So you did a virtual interview, and then you went to and did in-person interview. You do 2 interviews?
I did. So the first, it was I had to give in a cover letter, and then like 2 letters of recommendation, and then they gave an Excel project, like a just see what your Excel skills are and like really see if you could like analyze different data sets and like honestly it was no right answer, but they just wanted to see where your mind was at. And after that, they did like a little screening, basically learn more about you. And then if you get to that part, that's when they call you like, hey, we really like you. And I was the only, well, it was one more person who was outside of Texas. Everybody else who I was going against lived in Texas. So they had to like fly me out and everything, give me a hotel and everything for me to do the final interview. I learned about me going to the final interview maybe Monday, and I had to fly out on Friday. So not
Wow.
only did I have to prep for an interview, I had to prep for a whole presentation, a 7-minute presentation, and learn all of that information, plus make sure that I did everything. And it was mind blowing.
Wow, this is just an experience, and nobody even knows. Getting a position is not like just talking to you and look at you. They wanted to know your skills, your ability to,
Yep.
your critical thinking. I think they were looking.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What skills, Professor Shapiro, do you think the employers are looking? Nia mentioned some of them. What the employers are looking for the new MPA-IO graduate?
Well, generally, IO is about quality control. It's about integrity of your workforce. It's about getting things done that you've promised to get done. It's about reporting. Are you reporting fairly about how the government operates? And those kinds of skills involve a lot of study, a lot of reading, a lot of understanding, a lot of patience too. Because remember, we're dealing with unfamiliar concepts. And one thing I want to urge upon students, and it may go against the grain, and I think Nia has demonstrated this better than I could with words. You got to leave your comfort zone, right? Don't be afraid to leave your comfort zone, because you will learn so much that it will be worth the initial disappointments, embarrassments, and so forth that one gets from leaving one's comfort zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. The comfort zone is key on all of this, because that was what Nia did. Nia said, "Okay, I have to go and travel to the other part of the country, prepare a presentation. I don't even know if they will hire me, but that's you were finally, so you were one of the favors maybe, but there is always the tension of you don't know if you will be chosen. I'm glad the skills and you feel confident that you will be able to go through. So what advice you will do, Nia, to prospective students who are thinking to enter to this program? What advices you will do, how they prepare themselves to be in this program, or at the same time, what advice you will do in the moment they leave the program? They will have the rest of the portfolio. What do you think you will advise them?
I say trust yourself, because I struggled with that a lot, and also just having confidence, not only in what you learn, but also just everything in general. Like, you have the ability to be successful and the ability to really do what you want to do. And that includes networking, asking questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because at the end of the day, not only is that giving you information, that's actually letting the person you're asking know you're interested. And just putting your name out there and having like email etiquette also, and like just know how to communicate and know how to balance your time, especially with the MPA. There's a lot of papers and a lot of single space papers. I don't remember having any double space papers in MPA, but just remember it's a lot of words. But it's just trust yourself and know that you're here for a reason. And if you need help, ask. If you need the tutor, ask. If you need to go get your writing checked or anything, just go, because I'd rather you do that before than after. And just trust yourself and trust that you're getting the tools that you need to be successful, and that whatever is meant for you is meant for you. And of course, some days are going to be hard, and some days you want to give up, because honestly, I wanted to also. But you have to remind yourself why you're there and why you're spending the money to be to school also. Remember that. And just know that you want a job I wanted to go to school because I wanted to help people. I didn't know how, but I knew I wanted to, and I found a way to do that and just enjoy it. Find your niche, find what you want to do, and make sure whatever, like MPA gave me a broad horizon so I could do anything with my MPA. It didn't actually like stick me in a box. So also work with that, because once you get an MPA in public administration, you can do anything.
Yeah.
And honestly, just build your resume, do different internships, externships, because you need that experience, and that experience can lead to a permanent job. And just also lean on your friends, because a lot of times you find friends that are also in the program with you or in different programs. Study together, communicate with each other, and just don't give up. Try your best, and even waking up going to class is your best. Like, do what you can. That's the advice I would give.
Yes, your advices are very important. You mentioned networking, create that support group with your classmates, and do the internships. They're asking if you were working between the bachelor's and the master's, or you went directly from the bachelor's to master's.
Oh, I went straight, because I knew if I took a break, a part of me wouldn't want to go back. Like I was used to the structure and making sure in my school mind. So I went from undergrad straight to master's.
Oh, okay. That's a good advice also. If you want to you just go there, go through the motions until you get what you really want. Exactly. Professor Shapiro, what do you call advise the students who are considering to apply into the MPA Inspection Oversight program?
I know this may sound hokey and people may discount this, but your personal statement, how you express yourself, what you want out of the program, how you've made your life to date, how you've contributed to employer, to family, to prior education. The personal statement is so important, because the other measures don't have the same flesh and blood like a statement about you. You are you are here, and there's nobody that's been here that's you. You are here once. It's all of us. We are here for the first time, and there'll never be another one of us. So I want to read that. I want to know what makes you, you.
Excellent. So when you write your personal statement, you want to be really focused on what exactly you want to do and why you are you're studying this master program. So that's very important. So with that, we just going to the end of our interview, and I really appreciate Nia Gibson being with us today. I mean, it was amazing to learn, your journey, and you traveling, and taking the risks to go to another state. That is a big change with better weather. Suffering. Professor Shapiro, we are very happy to have you as a new director of the MPA. I know you want to put a direction in the program that will give us students new opportunities, new job opportunities. And thank you everybody for being here. This is Dr. Morote from Graduate Power for Public Management of John Jay College. I will see you next week.
Bye-bye.